Hi BFFs, my name's Katina from BFF Beauty, and today is Folklore Friday. For all of you just joining us, Folklore Friday is a meld of my two loves, our paranormal research from a group that I am a paranormal investigator with, and my love of beauty with BFF Beauty. So, on Fridays I kind of just get together and tell you guys a few stories of some local folklore here in Colorado. Today's local folklore comes from Wheat Ridge, Colorado, and it is about a haunted Target. So I don't know if any of you have heard of the haunted Target in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, but in 1909, May 5th of 1909, the city had set aside 392 acres of land for what was going to be a home for the mentally defective. So they would call it Ridge Home Asylum. So the purpose of this home was for children, or mostly children, but a lot of older people, criminal people too, with mental situations who needed to be incarcerated, but could not be incarcerated for criminal activity, maybe because they needed more help taking care of them, things like that. The first housing for this was ready in 1910, and the first person to show up there was in 1912. Now, I will tell you that there was only 3 ways that you could leave this asylum, and that was transferring to the home of a relative who was going to take care of you, transferring to the Pueblo Insane Asylum, or death. So coming into this facility was almost a life sentence for the people that their family put them there, but it was for the mentally defective, and that is what their little plaque said there. So this home was shut down in the 90s, but it ran from 1912 through the 90s with a whole lot of like reports going on there. You know, this was a fairly new situation, caring for the mentally disabled or those who could not take care of themselves. Families who could not take care of them. The institutions were then made in effect to take care of these people. So it was a fairly new situation. Everybody, you know, learning to take care of, lots of things going on in the world about mentally defective people, or manic people, they would call some. So, you know, there was just a lot of things that were reported, like there was forced sterilization, where they forced these people to not be able to have children ever in their lives. In the 50s, there was 17 deaths that were supposedly linked to rapes, beatings, lots of crimes going on in the tunnels below this asylum. Now, there was lots of housing there, and the very last house that was built was in the 30s. So there was just a lot going on. In the 70s, they had a partial campus closure. Now, there was a lot of reports given about this place that, you know, they just didn't have enough people there to take care of a lot of the patients that were there, that they weren't getting the state funding that they needed, so their staff was low and so forth, and they checked them out. There was neglect, reports of neglect of the patients. They went in and did an investigation in the 1980s, I believe, where there was a lot of break-ins, and they had to close down part of the place because of mold and asbestos. So the place that was still open, there was like a lot of bodily waste, litter everywhere. So, you know, it really wasn't the greatest of places to visit. There's some reports of people who went there like for field trips of school. Like, they would just let people go there and look at these people like they were zoo animals. Field trips for school to the insane asylum, so you could look at the freaks of nature. It was just really sad the way that they treated these people, and a lot of which were children who were just kind of sentenced to a life in this institution. So you kind of have a background of what was going on this property. There were cages in the basement that were meant for children for discipline. And that is just, you know, these children didn't understand what they were doing, what was going on around them, and they were putting these cages for things like biting each other. Their teeth were removed. Oh, just lots of sad stuff. Lots and lots of sad stuff. So over the years, when this finally closed, right before it closed, when it was closed to the public, they housed mentally unstable sexual criminals who had to serve out the rest of their time, and there was 22 of them that were brought there after the facility was closed to the public. So those were the last people living there, and they maintained their sentence there until they were finally closed completely in the 90s. And then in 2000, well, they kept severe cases there, as well as these predators, these sexual predators there. So in 1991, a security guard set fire to some of the facility. And then in 1994, an Aurora man was killed in the parking lot for having a supposed relationship with another woman. And many staff members, as well as other onlookers, saw this murder happen. In 2006, they planned to demolish the place. And then in 2007, it was completely gone. Now, lots of pain and torment that had gone on there. Lots of people just left and abandoned by their families there. Pretty sad circumstance going on, which probably left a lot of pain. But then they demolished it, which then left lost spirits who were already not understanding what was going on. So now they have put up a shopping mall, and right on the property, or right above where the asylum was, the tunnels were filled in and raked over, and there was just a lot of activity going on there still when the buildings were still up, but they chose to demolish them. So with that being said, they built a Target Supercenter. Sorry, guys. Well, within that Target Supercenter, many employees of the Target Supercenter, as well as people who work in their surrounding areas, have reported stuff in the shopping area, in the parking lot, on into the Target itself. A lot of stuff going on in there. They've reported children. There have been paranormal investigators go there, and they've reported things as well. So here's the kicker. So, you know, people, it's an insane asylum. There's disabled people there. There's signs of abuse because they don't have enough staffing. They were given chance after chance to straighten out whatever was going on, and they couldn't get it straightened out for the state to keep them open. They then stayed open only for the severely handicapped that had nowhere else to go. So there's talks of tons of abuse going on there. However, in the midst of the biggest abuse and stuff, there was a woman who lived there, and they applauded her for being the mother of all these mentally handicapped children. In 17 years' time, she never took one day off, and she devoted her life to being there for them. In fact, in 1955, she held a graduation ceremony for those of her patients who could graduate high school. So that doesn't sound like somebody who really is not caring for the well-being of these people. So there's also accusations that all of these accusations are not true, blah, blah, blah. But there was enough for them to not do repairs, for them to not give the cares of the people that they should have as readily as they should have. So I'm not sure. I mean, there's very little deaths linked to any abuse, reports of any of that. But paranormal investigators swear that they have seen many things going on there, and that they have gotten a lot of evidence from there. So this area is in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Target is open to the public. You are welcome to go there and check it out. You're welcome to take some investigative equipment with you, check out the parking lot, see what you can pick up there. I myself believe that there was a lot of energy of things going on there, and that is why there's a lot of residual stuff happening. So I personally feel that the reason that so much is going on is from all of this energy and the things that have gone on there. But I'm not so sure. I'd like to believe that children are not made to endure reliving their misery over and over and over again. So I would like to think that it's just the energy of whatever they had going on there, and it's not really them there that the people are seeing. But you know, a lot of children were there, and there's reports from staff that a lot of the things that they reported are true, but it's because they didn't know any better how to care for these people. So to take their teeth out so they weren't imposing harm on anybody else, and to put them in cages when they were being combative and out of control was all that they really knew to do. So I'm not sure if this is a case of abuse or a case of education misses, but it certainly is a sad circumstance. And the majority of the people there were children. Now, I'm not really sure where these children must have gone. I mean, they must have just not been in the forefront of the press in this facility once they grew, because there's not a lot of talk about other people in the facility, mostly children. 670 children over the years called this woman mother. So I don't know if maybe they were programmed to, but I feel like there's something off about this woman that, you know, the mother of the circumstance, I guess, or the person that was the children called a mother. Okay, so another woman talks about having to go to this place when it was up and going, and how there was all kinds of freaks of nature, as she put it. Guys, I don't feel anybody's a freak of nature, but she said that there were freaks of nature. But that is exactly how this woman put it. And she said that they had humps on their backs and like extra arms and missing limbs and so on and so forth, and it was just really like a sideshow. So that made me kind of sad too, that they were looked at like that. Oh my goodness, just all the stuff these people had to endure probably made for a really exciting place for us to venture out to, right? So heed caution if you plan on going to these places, okay? I just really hope you all take it easy out there. If you're wondering everything that I'm putting on, I'll have it in the comments down below. Please subscribe, like, share all of our videos. If you go to these places and you get some evidence, please let me know. I'd love to see it. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to be a part of it. Continue to watch us here on BFF Beauty, because we're not just going to do buildings and haunted places. We're going to talk about some amazing stories here soon too. Some things from the pioneer era and some crazy things that happened back then that you would not believe. Mwah. All right, y'all. That's it for today. That's I do not like this lipstick. Probably gonna change it. But that's it for BFF Beauty today. I hope you enjoyed Folklore Friday. Again, if you go and you find out some evidence at this haunted Target in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, let me know. I'd really love to see your evidence. Until then, stay safe. Thought I was losing internet there. So until then, stay safe, take care of one another, and we'll see you all back here next Friday for Folklore Friday on BFF Beauty. Mwah.